The movie opens somewhere in New Zealand between green forests and hills. A police car arrives with a young boy and an orphanage secretary. A woman police officer is there to give custody of the orphan boy, Ricky, to the family who lives there. The couple is middle-aged. The woman, named Bella, runs and hugs Ricky as she is happy to have a child. But a police officer informs her to be careful because Ricky is a nasty boy who often causes trouble. That night, Bella and her husband Hector have dinner with Ricky, but he seems to be unhappy. When the night falls, he secretly grabs his bag and leaves the house. He runs into the woods and keeps running, but when he wakes up in the morning at a green hill, he sees Bella next to him smiling at him. She informs him that Ricky couldn't go so far from her house. Ricky sees her house from the hill. Bella asks him to have breakfast with her as he must be hungry. Ricky forcefully walks back with her to home. A few days pass silently, and Ricky starts to feel better with his foster parents because Bella keeps good care of him. Ricky tries to talk with his foster father, Hector, who always keeps his dog with him, but Hector ignores him. Bella teaches Ricky how to use the rifle, and she shows her skill of hunting to Ricky. They both spend time together, and Ricky gets comfortable with her. On his birthday night, Bella and Hector gift him a dog, and when things get better, suddenly one day Bella died. This makes Hector and Ricky feel themselves alone. Hector finds it difficult to live without Bella. He doesn't like Ricky as well. Ricky tries to be friends with him and brings a toast for Hector. But there, Hector shows him a notice from the orphanage that they will come next week to take Ricky back because Bella is dead now, who adopted Ricky and their family. Now they won't let them keep Ricky in the house. Ricky finds it uneasy. He tries to convince Hector that he should live there as he feels freedom there. Hector denies and forces him that he didn't adopt Ricky. Ricky gets hurt, and that night, when Hector falls asleep, Ricky burns a dummy of himself and leaves the house with Todo. He runs into the dense forest. He walks for several days, eats all his stuff, and when he runs out of food, he gets exhausted and looks for food everywhere. Suddenly, Hector appears there and asks Ricky if he is hungry. Ricky shows some anger at him, but when Hector asks him to come along with him, he doesn't refuse. During their walk in the forest, they both share conversation, and Ricky throws some insulting words at Hector, which makes him angry. When he tries to attack Ricky, his foot sticks in a wood and he falls off. He gets his foot injured, and 3 of them get stuck in the forest until Hector can walk again. In the next scene, the same policewoman arrives at Hector's house and looks for Ricky, but when she doesn't find both Ricky and Hector, they assume that Hector has kidnapped Ricky. She informs the police station and finds it necessary to search Ricky. They start a search operation in the deep forest of New Zealand. On the other hand, Ricky tries to hunt a pigeon for food as they were starving but fails. When he returns, Hector shows him a big fish he hunted for dinner. Both had a good meal near the bonfire. Hector finally gets well and he decides to walk again. Ricky, along with his foster father and a dog, once again heading somewhere into the forest. Hector decides to not hand over Ricky to the orphanage once again. While walking in the non-ending forest, they find a small restroom over there. They enter the restroom and observe it carefully. Suddenly, Ricky gets shocked to see a paper pasted on the wall. The paper contained pictures of both Hector and Ricky with an announcement that Hector has kidnapped the child. They get tense, but suddenly the 3 owners of the restroom arrive there. When they see the wanted person inside their restroom, they start arguing with Hector. During their conversation, the table turns, and suddenly Hector attacks one of them. The situation gets worse when all 3 attack back Hector, but Ricky acts like a hero and fires from his gun to scare the group of 3. He succeeded, and the rest house owners let Hector go. They quickly grab their stuff and leave them. This time they reach another green hill. Ricky asks Hector what they will do now, and Hector suggests they must run now and not surrender to the police. The police expand their search operation more widely to search for Ricky, but they don't get any success. Hector and Ricky keep walking in the forest. Wherever they find any rest house, container, or any luggage of hikers, they steal food and other necessities. Both are now developing a good bond. On the other side, missing news of Ricky and Hector goes viral, and the media has a threshold of public questions about poor Ricky. But Ricky, along with Hector, is enjoying his new life, an adventurous journey into the forest. They once again encounter the 3 men whom they met in the restroom. They steal all their stuff, making them their enemy. But a twist comes into the story when they both saw a ranger's office between the woods. Upon entering, they get shocked to see an injured ranger officer lying helplessly. Watching his medical need, Hector asks Ricky to go out and seek help. Ricky leaves with his dog. Soon he finds a young girl riding in grass fields on her horse. She recognizes Ricky and asks him to follow her if he needs any help. Ricky accepts and follows her to her house, where he meets with her jolly father. He too recognizes Ricky and clicks some photographs with him. The father praised his efforts to live free. They offer him food. Ricky gets sleepy there, and while the girl plays guitar, Ricky falls asleep. But when he wakes up in the morning, he gets hesitant to run back to Hector. The girl dropped him through his horse, but at the ranger's office, a huge force of police seems to be operating. Ricky finds no traces of Hector there. The police transfer the injured ranger officer into an ambulance, and suddenly the woman police officer saw the girl's father post a selfie with Ricky, which goes viral. This makes her angry, and she realizes that Ricky must be around the area. Ricky keeps running. Suddenly, when he was passing from the edge of a slightly deep ditch, he gets in sight of 2 police officers. But the good thing was the officers were on the other side. The police officer tries to convince him to come along with him, even showing Ricky a packet of candies, but Ricky refuses and runs away. Soon he finds Hector on his way, but now the police force is more eagerly looking for him. Now they know where Ricky and Hector have gone. Both Ricky and Hector encounter wild pigs, but somehow they kill them. During this, their one dog gets badly injured, and Hector has to kill him with his gun. Scene swipes, and we see a change in weather. Snow falling everywhere, and Hector and Ricky still running. Once police saw them, but somehow they managed to escape. This time they take shelter in a crazy man's house, making it their biggest mistake. Police surround them from every corner, but luckily they find a truck inside the home. They drive it to run away, but police forces were now desperately trying to catch them. Soon they realize that they couldn't run anymore. Hector asks Ricky to surrender in front of them, but Ricky refuses. During their dialogue, Hector tries to call the police. Ricky accidentally fires his gun and injures Hector's foot. This makes police know their hiding place. They get arrested. The hearings begin in the courtroom upon hearing all things. The court orders to release Hector. Ricky finds a new foster parent, and surprisingly, it was the same father-daughter duo whom Ricky met in the forest. One morning, Hector sits on his stairs when Ricky arrives and says sorry for all of his misbehaves. He hugs Hector, who taught him so many lessons. Hector hugs him back and taps his back to show his affection and support. In the last scene of this comedic adventurous movie, we see both Hector and Ricky once again ready to explore the forest. Did you enjoy the movie recap? Which movie do you want us to explain in our next video? Write in the comments section. See you in the next video.